A recipe for pomegranate liqueur. Pretty straightforward. I'll make it as simple as I can without faffing around or waffling too much. In essence, it is just pomegranate juice, sugar, and vodka. I'm going to change it slightly by adding some orange bitters and a little bit of orange flavouring. I haven't decided how much of those I'm going to add just yet. I'm going to taste and see what I think. I'm going to do two separate recipes. I'm also going to use some bitters, some orange bitters that I made myself because I think that's slightly nicer than the stuff that I bought. Not to say that's a load of rubbish, that's a really good product. But I'm not promoting anything. So, and as we're using vodka, we need to kind of balance the amount of sugar and the concentration of pomegranate. I want it to be, because I'm an adult, I want it to be quite alcoholic, but I don't want it to be like getting down to the stages where it's about as strong as wine, because I don't think that really kind of works. So we're going to go on the principle that we're going to keep it at about 30% alcohol level, rather than watering it down to something like 10% or 12% alcohol, which I don't think that kind of works. I kind of want a liqueur to be quite alcoholic. So the way we're going to do that, instead of just adding straight pomegranate juice, we are going to, or have done, reduce the pomegranate juice down. So, and we're going to reduce it down to a quarter of its original volume. So we're going to take, I took a litre of pomegranate juice. There's less than a litre in that, but I already had some pomegranate juice that I used for something else. So you take a litre and you put it in a stainless steel pan. Bring it up to the boil and then a slow simmer to reduce it down to its evaporate off the water, so it goes down to 250 milliliters. So it ends up looking like that. So it's a little bit syrupy, certainly a lot more concentrated flavour than just the pomegranate juice. Although we'll just work slightly back. Make sure when you buy the pomegranate juice or make the pomegranate juice, it's 100% pomegranate. A lot of the things that you buy can have sweeteners or sugars in, and they're made from concentrate, pomegranate concentrate, and then they have other things added to them. That one's particularly good because it's 100% pomegranate, or you can make it yourself. Also, another thing to look at with the pomegranate is that it hasn't got any sediment in the bottom of the juice. What tends to happen with juices over time is the sediment settles down to the bottom, and which is fine. You shake it up, but what we're looking for is a clear liqueur rather than something that's a little bit cloudy. So you're just going to make sure that you buy 100% pomegranate juice and it's got no sediment in. If it has got sediment in, that's fine. You can filter it out with a coffee paper. Just slowly over time, pour the pomegranate juice through the filter paper, and that will filter out any sediment. You're left with slightly less amount of pomegranate juice, so you just need to adjust the recipe according to that. Yeah, so but don't be no pomegranate juices with sweeteners in or sugar in, because that's going to affect the taste of what we're kind of doing, and I want to be in control of the amount of sugar that I put in things, and preservatives and all that kind of stuff. So that's pretty straightforward. So reduce the litre of pomegranate juice down to 250 milliliters, and then to that, while it's still warm, we're going to stir in. No, we're not going to do that today because I've already done it. Add 250 grams of granulated sugar. Normal sugar, just fine. There's nothing particularly wonderful about it. It's just for a little bit of sweetness. And you just need to, when the pomegranate juice is warm, you need to add the sugar so sugar completely melts. And that's going to basically form a pomegranate syrup, which we are then going to add vodka to. Nothing special about the vodka, just cheap supermarket vodka. And for the 250 mils and the 250 grams of sugar, we're going to add 1 litre of vodka. So I'm doing it in 2 batches because I want to try it. Obviously, I want to try out the 2 different bitters. So I already have it in the jars here. It's got a bit of froth on the top of it because I shook it up to mix in all the sugar. It's still a little bit warm. So, but in equal amounts of the pomegranate syrup in each jar, and then I'm going to add 500 milliliters to each of the vodka to each jar, and then we'll add orange flavourings. Orange flavourings work particularly well with pomegranates. If you think of a syrup like grenadine, grenadine has got orange in, so we already know that it works particularly well with pomegranates. Give those a bit of a stir. That froth will go away because it's not impurities. It's just a bit of air trapped in the sugar. So that all mixed. Right, so essentially that is your pomegranate liqueur, and you don't need to add anything to it, but I am going to add a little bit of the orange to it to see where we go. Right, so I've also got some orange flavouring, so I reckon half a teaspoon of orange flavouring, that, and I reckon half a teaspoon of orange bitters. And then we'll taste and we'll see how we go, but I think that'll be about right. When making anything like this, you want to kind of balance the alcohol and sugar and any kind of citrus acidity levels, and also any kind of bitter levels as well. So it just makes it a more interesting and complex drink. So I think that will taste about right. Yep, that's nice. So a teaspoon, half a teaspoon of orange flavouring and half a teaspoon of bitters. And then I'll do the same with the homemade bitters. So half a teaspoon of orange flavouring in there. Wash off a spoon. Use another spoon, and then half a teaspoon-ish of the bitters I made myself. Not just quite as potent as the bitters that I made myself. The bitters I made myself just isn't quite as potent as the bought one. So, but I think it'll do the job. Equally as nice. So there we go. If you make it now, it will be nice and matured, ready for Christmas. I would say that you need to certainly put it into a bottle and put it in the back of the cupboard for at least 2 weeks, and then what we'll do is that will give the flavours a chance to mingle in towards each other. But I think that's really kind of quite a success. Don't need to add the bitters, don't need to add the orange flavouring. You can just use the pomegranate syrup and the vodka. What else was I going to add? Ah yes, I will add. Be careful when you're buying orange flavourings. I bought this one and I kind of thought, oh, that'd be kind of nice. Valencian orange extract. I thought, that'd be kind of interesting. However, that one's oil based. What you want is one that's a water based extract, because obviously oil and water don't mix, so you want a water based one. So that's pretty much it. Yeah, so if you want it, and I've done it 2 ways with the 2 bitters, because I think, of course I'm going to make my own bitters because I'm interested in that type of thing. But if you don't want to have to faff around making your own bitters, and then just so you can make some pomegranate liqueur, you just want to be able to buy some orange bitters, that's what you can do. So I think they both work particularly well, and I think that's about it. Yeah, so I'm gonna bottle that up, leave it in the fridge, not in the fridge, leave it in the cupboard for a couple of weeks, and then it'll mature, and then I'll retaste again. And if it needs a little bit more bitters, a little bit more orange in, I can add it then. But I think that's a nice amount for the moment. I think that's it. Yeah, and then I'm gonna drink it myself, or I'm going to give it away as gifts, because I always think it's nice to give people foodie things away. Yeah, but that's pretty straightforward. Yeah, I think that's it. Hope you can follow that. I'll put the recipe in the description, and then if you want to kind of do it. But I didn't want to. I'm forever showing people boiling liquids down, and I kind of think that people get a bit bored of that kind of stuff. But it's pretty straightforward. I think that's it. Yeah. So pomegranate liqueur, ready for Christmas. Oh yes. It's kind of quite one of those versatile kind of dishes, not dishes, but drinks. So you don't actually have to use pomegranate. You could use any kind of dark fruit juice that you've got. So if you've got some blackberry juice, it would work just as well, or some raspberry juice, just not raspberry puree or not blackberry puree, but the actual just pure juice would work in pretty much the same way. Just need to be careful which which kind of bitters that you add to it, because certain like blackberries would probably work better with like an orange bitters, no, lemon bitters rather than orange bitters. But it's fundamentally that kind of ratio of vodka, juice and sugar is kind of where liqueurs need to be. I don't like them too sweet, I don't like them too thick. I always remember at Christmas being treated to a liqueur after the meal or before the meal, and it just being like thick and not particularly very nice, and I just like things just that more alcohol and less sweetness. But I think that's it, I'm sure. Yeah, I'll probably faff around with the recipe at some point and do another pomegranate liqueur, but I think that's pretty much it.